I was just trying to seek truth. It was just the desire to know if a God exists. I just wanted to know. I just wanted to figure out. My name is Sam. I just graduated. The biggest turning point in my journey would be when I was really talking with my friend and discussing what really is the truth. Coming from many different backgrounds, I hear lots of different arguments about God's existence or whether God exists or not. And so in the beginning, it was very difficult for me to actually believe in my faith, because how do I know that God actually exists? When I genuinely started asking the question, is there an absolute truth? Is it possible that there is a God that exists, that is omnipotent? After I asked that question, it's like I started looking everywhere online. I tried to look for arguments for God's existence, and I tried to look for evidence that God exists. But it was very difficult, because when I hear all of these arguments, it's like it's not concrete, it's argumentative. There's always points that you can attack back, and then that never really resonated with me. When I met a friend of mine from the church and BIC, Willie, it was a very wild coincidence that I was able to meet him, but it was through him that I was introduced to something called biblical prophecies. And I think that was what I was searching for, because in the beginning, I didn't know if God exists or how I can prove God exists. And after studying prophecies, it's very eye-opening to me, because only then can I understand that there really was a God. The biggest thing that has affected me is how Christ teaches us to be a more loving person. And I think by living on principles, on heavenly principles, has really affected my life the most. Because prior to accepting Christ, I had no foundations for anything. When I was tackling problems, or there was a problem in my life, or anything happened, it was very difficult to actually know what to do. I didn't have the wisdom. So then if there was a conflict with a friend, I would retaliate with anger as well. I was pretty argumentative as well back then, so I would always argue back, always into debates and stuff. And so I couldn't find peace with myself. I think the biggest thing that has affected me was following the heavenly principles, because God teaches us to be a more loving person, to also have a more loving character. And I believe that having a more loving character can bring me so much more peace than anger. I think being part of the BIC church has really influenced my spiritual growth, and definitely in a positive way. Because originally, I was just trying to seek truth. It was just the desire to know if a God exists. I just wanted to know. I just wanted to figure out if a God really exists. And then when I was studying prophecies, I was really focused on just the specifics on it. Like when I was studying the book of Daniel, right? You could get really, really deep into it. And so that's what I was focusing on. And while it's good to study God's word and to study prophecies, it's like I don't actually learn God's love by doing that. I was too focused on the prophecies. And so I ignored the big picture. It's like God has the miracle. God has the ability to tell us the end from the beginning. And it's like, I was too focused on it. I was just like, wow, right? But then by going to church and understanding God's love, it's like, if God can tell us the end from the beginning, He knows prophecies for thousands of years. It's like, it gives me more comfort knowing that I can rest my burdens with Him, because He knows how my journey will end and how my journey will start as well. And so by being around like-minded people that also wants to seek truth, that also wants to seek God's love, really has helped me in finding my spiritual growth, because it shaped me into being a more loving person, I would say. Definitely for me, what has really hit, what embodied the most was the loving nature of the church and how everyone is super accepting and loving there. I could walk into church feeling very comfortable, feeling very accepted. Even though I was very flawed back then, I was very argumentative. I could come across as rude because I was very pressing with my questions, and it was just so beautiful because there was no resentment there. It was just all love. So I'm very grateful for that. Being around more people that also wants to seek the truth really can help you, especially because we have a very sinful nature as people, and so it's very easy if we're alone in our rooms to fall into sin, fall into temptation. And so I think being around like-minded people that also wants to seek truth, people that also wants to understand God's love, I think really helps into our spiritual growth, especially with me, because originally I didn't really care about God's love. I just wanted to know the truth. But then as I figured out God's prophecies and I figured out all these things that God can do, it's like I eventually evolved into understanding how loving God really is for his people. Being around like-minded people that also wants to seek truth, that also wants to understand the truth in a deeper level, and being around people that also will help you be the best version of yourself really does help your journey and really does help your spiritual journey. The BIC Church is, I think it's a very amazing church, because not only do you I love the community here, because not only do we help each other learn spiritually, and not only do we help each other understand the truth better, we try to teach and help everyone in what they can do the best. Some people are not good at public speaking. They want to learn in public. They want to get better at public speaking. So we practice that, and we're a very loving community. So it's very easy to learn that. We also put a very big emphasis on health. So there's counseling here. We just talk to each other, and then we just help each other live a more healthy lifestyle. And I think that's very, very important. It's having a community that also, I've said this before, but a community that really wants to strive truth as well. I can study as much as I want on my own, but people at the church, there's people that has been studying for years, and so it never hurts to ask for their advice as well. So when we go throughout the week and we do our studying, I have questions, we can go to the church and we can discuss the questions. It's amazing, because without the help of the community, I don't think I would be where I am now, because they've helped me answer so many burning questions I've had. Even though I was born into a Christian family, my whole friend group was of different faiths. I never was religious, and so I was always a skeptic. And so coming into this church as a skeptic, as a person that's always pressing on everything I can, it's very, very, very helpful to me that there's people that can help guide me and help answer my questions, because I can look as far and wide as I want in the internet, but some of the questions are just so specific that I can't find them. And it's having people that dedicate their lives to God and to the truth is just a lot wiser to seek wisdom from those that's been there for quite a while.